an ode to the greatest escape room show. This is Puzzle Talk. I'm Tone, and as always, I am here with Christina.
Hello.
Welcome, Christina. We are tired. I am really tired. I'm currently on the overnight shift from Freak Show. In which case you might be able to hear at the exact moment the construction going on in the background. Freak Show opens this weekend, so we're in that home stretch of, ripping through it. But everything's turning on. So
that's good.
That's been kind of cool. We got to just see some crazy fire lighting, and this morning I saw some swords moving around, and I don't want to spoil things, but there's some crazy stuff in this game. We started yesterday at noon, and Chris and I have been going since, with a lot of the team working very late hours last night and being back first thing in the morning. So it's going to be a crazy week. Tonight and tomorrow will be another ridiculous, day or two, and then we'll be, I think all the set design will be done at that point, and it'll really just be coding and sourcing everything. So that'll be the rest of the week, and then Friday into Saturday will be insane because that's when we open. So we need to get back to work. We almost canceled Puzzle Talk today as a result, but we decided you guys are more important. You need your Puzzle Talk. So you better be out there, somebody. All right. Let's get into our first topic. The Rogues Gallery. So the Rogues Gallery is a new event done by, I always forget their name. I apologize, guys. I'm going on no sleep. It's something Ghost. Broken Ghost Immersives. That's it. Only took me 5 minutes. Broken Ghost Immersives puts on this show. They produce live interactive performances in Brooklyn, I believe. And the Rogues Gallery is one of 3 they have going on. They also have something called The Wake and The Bunker. So it's kind of a different thing. It's not, it's very immersive, so it has a lot in common with escape room content. But it's not, you're not escaping a room. It's not solely puzzle based. There's live, participation, stuff like that. It's $65 a ticket. I don't know how long it is. But basically, you go in playing the role of supervillains from golden age of comic books. And I think you have to kind of plan out how you're going to go about your villainy. And depending upon how it goes, there's different ways the event can end. The superheroes can crash the party and thwart your plans or stuff like that. So it sounds really cool. Whether or not it really is, I don't know, but it does sound pretty cool. I just dropped my water on the floor. This is going to be an interesting show. But, it's one of those immersive events where, everything you do shapes the story, and everyone's story ends up a little different because of the interactions. Have you ever done, any kind of immersive event, or, immersive theater event?
Me?
Yeah.
Not off the top of my head.
Windward Hotel that we produced was pretty much an immersive theater / puzzle escape room event. But then last year, was it last year or was it the year before? I don't remember. But Jess and I went to see Sleep No More at the McKittrick Hotel in New York. And the set design in that very much inspired me quite a bit, even in Freak Show. Matter of fact, the rubber mulch that's in different areas of the fairgrounds was directly from there. I may have taken a rubber mulch chunk and put it in my pocket at Sleep No More because I was like, this really feels real. They had really good rubber mulch. So I've been wanting to use rubber mulch in a theme ever since.
Do you still have that piece?
Yes, it's actually in my dresser drawer upstairs in my bedroom, which I haven't seen in 2 days. It's rough. It's very rough. This morning at like 8:30, my wife called and FaceTimed me, and my daughter was kind of losing it because she's not used to Dad not being home in the morning, and it was absolutely heartbreaking. I was about to get in the van and run home just for 10 minutes so I could give her a hug and make her breakfast and leave. But yeah, this stuff was so much easier before somebody actually cared if I was home. That's not true. My wife cared too, I think. But, my daughter's the whole world, so. So yeah, that's Rogues Gallery. Check it out. I actually think the way I caught wind of it was ARGN.com, RoomEscapeArtist.com, and I think like one other group all went together. And they played and they posted on social media about it. So, they seem to enjoy it. I would check it out. I'd love to play a supervillain for a night.
That sounds like a really cool twist on it.
Yeah. So, next topic. Everyone wants to know what is next. And we've kind of gone over this already. Beast Caves is next. But Beast Caves has popped a little further in its developmental process, so there is a little bit more info we can share about it. But just to recap, we did have a teaser trailer come out about a month ago, 2 months ago?
2 months ago.
2 months ago. So we'll throw that up, and then we'll talk about Beast Caves a little bit. Nothing new this year.
That would be insane.
No, Freak Show's it. Freak Show's the last thing that's new this year. Technically, we've had a hell of a year because QRZ basically premiered right before the New Year. It premiered the week of Christmas. So, QRZ opened practically this year, and now Freak Show opens this weekend. We have been kind of going like nonstop. What is Beast Caves that we have in development? It's 100% only in story phase right now. We have not gotten into production of any kind on it yet. It's really just concept art, some graphic image, artistry work, and and story and plot points. I have one puzzle for Beast Caves at the moment. But some really cool gear and equipment. So, essentially, what we're going off of with Beast Caves is a little bit different than I think most are probably expecting on the concept. Beast Caves is almost like Journey to the Center of the Earth meets the Jurassic Park franchise. Jurassic Park, that's like one of my favorite film franchises. They've had some missteps, but Jurassic Park 1 will forever be one of my favorite movies of all time. Saw that as a kid in the 90s, and it wowed me to no end. I have every special edition for all of the behind-the-scenes featurettes on how they made everything in there and blah, blah, blah. One of my favorite was actually, when they're in the truck and they're on the tour but the power goes out? and they have their cup of water right on the corner of the thing, and it pulses when T-Rex is getting closer with every step. You know, there was somebody actually under the dashboard of the Jeep tweaking a guitar string. That's how they got the vibration. You know, it's the little things you'd never think of in a million years. But essentially, you're working for a company that knows of these creatures that are hiding somewhere within the center of the earth. And your path to get there is through an active volcano. So you'll be venturing through the volcano, down into the center of the earth, and into the ice caverns of some of these creatures. And your mission is to bring back DNA. Because with this volcano erupting, odds are everything that's down in there is going to be annihilated. So we need to bring something back so that the scientists can recreate these creatures. So your job is to go down there in a can of shaving cream. No, we're actually working on these specialized sample guns. Basically, they're going to be like DNA sample guns that when you touch it to the creature, their DNA will show up inside the tube of the gun. So it's like you're extracting DNA, blood from them. So we think that'll be kind of a cool little thing. You'll go through with these cartridges and come back, and then we're trying to make it with an app so that this way, when you do come out, you kind of have like a list of what creatures you found and what DNA they consisted of, and all this kind of stuff. So like the dragon is made up of A, B, and C different creatures, and you'll have that list, and then maybe you didn't catch them all, so you have to go back and on a quest for more creatures next time. Todd, welcome, Todd. Yeah, we're very excited for this one. After Freak Show, it's like, what the hell do you get excited for? But Beast Caves is going to be very, very interesting, very cool. We're super excited for it. And usually when we have a new theme open, we'll spend the first 2 weeks just watching it, adding new hints, stuff like that, seeing if we need a little more lighting somewhere. This one we can't change any of the puzzle structure whatsoever because the whole thing is automated. So once that code is done, it's done. But we can change like lighting levels and audio levels, make sure that when you go from one space to another, the sounds don't intermingle and mix and sound ridiculous. So all that cool like theme parky fun stuff. And hints are the big one. We're always watching for and like taking notes of like, okay, we need to add that or we need to add that, so that this way we can clue people through the games more properly. Those you kind of have to watch and see what happens a lot of the time. We could make our base clues, but we can't really guess everything. So for 2 weeks we'll be on that, and then my attention will turn completely to Beast Caves. So it'll be a fun fall, I guess we'll say. And Beast Caves is going to Red Bank. It will be a 2-hour quest, and it will be a supersized game, just like the new QRZ as well as Freak Show. Some of you may be asking, how do we possibly fit that inside of our Red Bank location? You'll just have to wait and find out. So, what else we got? Puzzles and Quirks, as well as Escape Stream, will be moving into the next cataloged event, which is The Chosen. The Chosen is basically a puzzle theme based on a religious cult. The idea is that one of your... This phone just does not stop ringing. The idea is that one of your close friends and associates has gone missing, and you find a note that clues you into the fact that they may have joined this religious cult. You infiltrate the cult and try to find and extract your friend. And that's basically the concept of the game. It's been running in Puzzles and Quirks for a year, and it'll be on its second rotation this year, and it will be introduced now going into August as another Escape Stream experience. Now, what's kind of cool about all of the Puzzles and Corks catalog games being moved into Escape Stream is that unlike Puzzles and Corks, where we rotate them each month, on Escape Stream, once they premiere, they're there. So you can still go back and play Theater of the Devil. And you can go back and play National Security. We're not taking them down because we were able to kind of mix the components so that this way we can stream it anytime that's requested on the schedule. So The Chosen's a really cool, fun game. You'll have to join in and see what you think of it. So hopefully you have your membership for $11.99 a month on Trapdoor Escape Stream, and you can join us there and stream it live. Hopefully we'll see you soon on it. Christina.
Yes.
The world wants to know all about Scorch, the Fire Breather. Nick Spinelli played Scorch, the Fire Breather on The Greatest Freak Show, which premieres this weekend in our Morristown location, as well as will be premiering on Escape Stream in 2 weeks. So we'll be live for that. And one of the main characters you're going to want to see is Scorch, the Fire Breather. So one of the coolest parts of Scorch, Chris, why don't you come join us in a view?
I'm having breakfast right now.
Chris is having breakfast right now. Chris engineered some of the coolest lighting effects I've seen for Scorch the Fire Breather, and you'll be able to see that live in his trailer when you come participate. Oh, there's Chris. You can see him in the shot back there in the corner.
I think I can multitask here.
Yeah. Welcome, Chris, to Puzzle Talk. No one's actually ever seen Chris on Puzzle Talk yet.
And no one will ever again. Because I work on Mondays.
That's what they all say.
Except when I'm on vacation here.
Beyond that, Scorch as a character had some interesting elements we needed to work with, called fire. Immediately it was like, we're doing a freak show. There's got to be a fire breather. How do we do that indoors? Originally, we were planning on actually doing a green screen outside and having Nick in front of the green screen, shoot it, and then impose him on the stage later in post-production. Problem was, matching that lighting was going to be an absolute nightmare.
I think that was the first conversation we had of what we were going to do with Scorch's room.
Yeah.
And it started off with looking at like high-end Disney effects of using heat cannons. So it's basically like a potato cannon you supercharge with some hot air, and then you just let the valve out, and you feel like you just got hit by a blast of fire. It's like a $10,000 device, of course we can make, but do you want to? Air conditioning's expensive enough. Do you really want to pay for all that heat? So what led us to next was obviously finding some type of lighting effect that can kind of compensate for the fire. So that you have to use multiple different colors of like reds, a lot of yellows and oranges, going on like kind of like a random pattern so it actually looks like fire.
Like flicker. Yeah. Yep.
Now if you go on like the Small World ride in Disney, when they did the original fire effects, what they did was, instead of using real fire, they used something close enough to it. So they used a particle, and they basically used steam, and they would backlight the steam. So for ours, we're not using steam. We're using an ultrasonic, basically particle generator, which is going to create a cold steam. So it'll be a light mist. It's what they use for like reptile cages.
This way we don't set off all the fire alarms and smoke detectors in the building.
We'll backlight that. So we'll have lights in the ceiling coming through holes, and then when you get to the end, you'll see this really cool fire effect that the first couple looks at it, you're going to actually think it's real fire, and you're going to go touch it, and it's going to move like real fire, like you're actually touching it, but hopefully you won't get burnt.
Yeah, this is some sick stuff we got into on this one. I don't think anything we could have said about even the performance stuff would have sold it more than Nick's, or Nick's fire breathing would have sold it more than Chris's description of the lighting and fire effects. But Nick does some cool stuff too. On the stage, we were able to do some controlled fire effects, and there is one hell of a blowtorch out of his mouth moment. I'm not telling you when, but there's a moment where, I mean, it's a blast. Beyond that, Nick Spinelli, who played Scorch the Fire Breather, immensely talented dude. He has his own number that he sings in the show, and then he has his performance stuff. There's moments in his performance when Mike and I were in the room and Mike was filming that I was cracking up. I had to keep getting up and leaving because Nick was so damn funny in his portrayal on stage. The little things he'd do, I mean, you can see in the photo Nick's bald. So there's a moment where he like does a little trick in effect and he's basically like, like swishing his hair back, and obviously he's bald. Incredibly talented guy, real fire breather, as well as some other oddity talents that he performs. In Freak Show, he sticks to the fire, but there's some other things he is capable and good at. And again, very fun voice to hear, to listen to when he does his number, and combining his performance, his characterization, and then the effects of his room and the trailer in the game that he occupies, really puts on a show. My two favorite moments in the whole entire show are the moments with Scorch and the moments with Slice. Slice has my favorite song in the entire show, but it's really amazing. I hope you guys will come check it out or stream it live and see it that way. The last topic we're getting into, because as we said, we are expediting this episode to get back to work, is one that has been a huge discussion online over the last couple weeks, especially in the Room Escape groups on Facebook, which is the $15 minimum wage hike that's coming within the next couple years, and how that's going to affect the escape room industry, where margins on a lot of companies tend to be kind of tight. So for a lot of people that don't know, we'll kind of go down the line of, I do know just from conversations with other owners and going to the Room Escape conference and whatnot, a lot of companies do not handle payroll the way we do at Trapdoor. A lot of companies their staff's on call, so the events have to be booked in advance, which means they're not really on any kind of set schedule. They're usually very part-time because the owners are the ones game mastering a lot. As a result, a lot of companies literally pay whatever that state's minimum wage line is. So Trapdoor does have a full schedule. Everyone that's on staff with us is on some form of schedule. Certain people are just as steady, like they work 3 very long days a week, or like you're usually 4 to 5 a week, and you kind of almost get to set your own schedule for the most part. Chris just works AM hours endlessly, and Chris was here last night as well, working on No Sleep, so you're seeing Chris and I at our overnight worst. And even worse, Chris has been locked in a closet for like 30 hours. We've got plenty of full timers, we've got part timers, and and whatnot. So the way Trapdoor has always done it is everyone has their starting rate, and then 90 days later, we do an evaluation that looks at how they've performed as far as their day-to-day operations and general duties as a game master. And then from that date, 6 months later, we do another evaluation. And in those 6 months, we're looking to see what other things are you good at? Are you coming into your own in other territories? For example, Christina started as a game master, and now she's our head of marketing. So Christina's one of those that jumped into other territories. Mike was in that position, and head of production. Another kind of latest one that I think is going to be moving into more of a set design position would be Samantha. We love seeing people kind of change ranks and move into other areas within the company. After the 6 months, we do it yearly. Trapdoor's pay rates are all over the place. It's common knowledge. You go right on Indeed and see we start at 10, and then we've got people that are new at that rate, and then we have people that are up in the high teens and 20 and whatever. So depends on how long you've been here. Mike makes the most money. Mike makes more money than we do. But that's basically, so with the whole wages going up. I've always kind of been on that fence of it's just everything's going to go up in the same notion. Every cost is
It'll
going to go up.
eventually catch up.
Right.
It's just inflation's going to match it. You're raising the base pay. It's unfortunate. Everything else is going to get expensive. It might not happen instantly. I think people who get it first, of course, are going to have a little bit more money to spend, which is good because that'll start popping the economy up again. But then inflation will catch up, and
gallon of milk will be
$1 in the bank today in 10 years is not worth $1. It's a lot less than $1. So
yeah, it's just going to be exactly as it is a decade later.
It's unfortunate, but it's about time. I think it slowly rises, and the key word is slowly, so everything rises together.
Right.
But in the end, you're not going to have more. It's just it's going to be what it should be.
The other issue that I've seen as well, and I've seen this come out too when they list job reports and they're like, oh, unemployment's massively down, and it's because one person has 5 jobs. And that's not necessarily good either, because people tend to just wear themselves out, or they're just not doing any of those jobs to the best of their ability because they can't focus. They're bouncing all over the damn place. So part of this issue too is, for example, the $15 minimum wage is for full-time employees. So you're going to see massive amounts of retail companies that are going to cap everyone at part-time hours, just so they could avoid going to that number. They're going to, instead of having 2 full-timers, they're going to have 3 part-timers that are going to be right at that line. And that companies have always done that, especially big box retail stores. I remember going years back before My Girl's Home Care was a thing. Jess worked at Bed Bath & Beyond for 4 months, and literally the entire staff there was all part-timers, so they could avoid insurance and they could avoid wage hike. It's just how they do business. So they're just going to avoid it every way they can, and there's still a lot of loopholes that'll keep people from paying 15.
Well, the thing is, for this type of business, you kind of hope someone who's approaching the minimum wage line is not going to be here for a long time. They're using this as a stepping stone to learn some skills and new talents, and then move on to that next job that they can apply it to. We've had people doing crazy things over the last couple of days that I don't think they would ever dream of doing. That's why I'm able to sit in this chair right now, because I have an army of 4 people soldering wires, plugging in relays, because it's not hard. It's just you got to put some time in and learn it. And then you can take that and go to the next job, and then keep cascading until you finally get to where you want. And you still won't be happy, but that's a story for another
Happiness
day.
is overrated. So that's kind of our take on it. The other end of this is what we talked about last week, and we've talked about consecutively. You need to charge more. If you're not charging $15 a ticket or $20 a ticket, then you don't have to worry so much about the super low wages. So
then it's time to open an axe throwing game. You didn't figure out the escape room game. Because it's bigger and better, and if you don't ride the wave, you're not going to make it.
There's only 2 ways that a company can grow. Either you get better at your main focus and draw more people to it and get them to spend more money on it, or you go horizontal and you have 20 other things, products going on that people can buy at the smaller rate. It's one or the other. So use your staff to diversify in whichever way you have to do it to justify bringing up their pay raise. And if they don't justify it, get rid of them. That's our 2 cents. That's my 2 cents. Any other further responses? Christina, you haven't really weighed in on this one.
No, I mean, I mostly agree with everything that's been said, so I don't really have anything new to contribute.
Can everyone see that way she's wincing at me when she says that? I think like I'm gonna be under something heavy later, and she's gonna be like, "Oops."
Well, it's a legit tough discussion because I almost feel uncomfortable talking about it. I'm not living on $15 an hour or $10 an hour. I can't even imagine it.
No, but you did.
I did at one point, and I was able to go past that point and have a plan and change the plan, and finally
throw out the plan, find a new plan. No, I mean that's kind of the point though. It's like these situations are supposed to be stepping stones, and I think when the economy collapsed out, that's where we ended up with a bit of a problem because you had people that were leaving $150,000 to $200,000 jobs now entering the minimum wage sector. You had 40-year-olds at McDonald's because they couldn't find anything else. So it's either they did something to pay the bills or they did nothing. So, the problem though is that a lot of people stayed there.
Yeah.
For a little while. Or still.
Look, 10 years ago you had retirees who were tradesmen, plumbers, electricians working at Home Depot.
Right.
Why? Because they needed health insurance. And it was great going there because you would get in awesome conversations with people who were really knowledgeable and knew what they were doing. And they were working for minimum wage. It happens. It's just like you see when you're a kid, a crossing guard going across the street, bringing you to high school and middle school. It's like that same person could have been making $200,000 a year, but now they're in retirement mode, shifting back to another gear. So you do that whole
circle of life.
Yeah.
But that's the point has always been that like the minimum wage jobs are supposed to be for entry level. It's supposed to be kids that are looking for first jobs, looking to learn some new skills.
Well, there's still plenty of people who are in need and are always gonna have that problem or issue come up, and you're forced to do it to pay your bills and feed your kids.
Right. Which don't have kids until you can afford them. But that's a whole nother discussion.
Next week?
Next week, population control, only on Puzzle Talk. We would love to hear all of your opinions on this. I know there's some other escape room owners that watch the show every week. So by all means, hit us in the comments. We'd love to continue this conversation, see where you guys land on the topic as well as some of our players. Are you willing to pay more per ticket knowing that you're helping, pay higher wages to the staff that works at that place? Because that's a little hand in hand. Like, you can't expect to pay $25 a ticket and then feel good about the fact that, that company is going to be able to pay more, because they can't. Unless they all of a sudden are getting 3,000 people in the building a month and there's only so many hours you can run these things in a day.
Yeah, it's really going to put a flush on the small businesses.
So,
the larger ones have plenty of profits because they can steal it from the upper. Here, there's not that much layer of higher.
Everybody's Todd, the circle of cash. Payroll. You're absolutely right, Todd. It's the circle of cash.
Constantly
that's enough.
Being reinvested.
That's enough out of us. We're getting back to work. We got a million things to do. We'll see you next Monday after Freak Show is already open. And we'll probably be here since like that Friday. So wish us luck. And we'll catch you next week. Subscribe, like, comment. See you next time. Thanks for watching.